Ma'am, step back, now! I said move back!
I have papers for the ceremony.
Ma'am, do not move.
She has a badge.
Why is he doing that?
Release her wrist. And who are you?
Her son.
Then tell her to comply. Call a supervisor!
Call a supervisor.
The officer's voice cut across the harbor plaza like a siren. Ma'am, step back. Now. 72-year-old Evelyn Whitaker only held tighter to her cane and the small blue tin in her purse. Why would a grandmother bringing papers to a public ceremony be treated like a threat? Why did every witness look away when his hand closed around her wrist? And why did the quiet man in a faded work jacket, watching from the ramp, refuse to raise his voice? Officer Brett Harlan thought he was dealing with an old woman and her helpless son. He had no idea what that son had survived, or how calmly power can answer power. Officer Brett Harlan's thumb pressed harder against Evelyn Whitaker's wrist, not enough to leave a mark, but enough to make her cane scrape sideways on concrete. Ma'am, I said, move back. I am on the guest list, Evelyn said. My son is expected inside. The cold rail sat under her other hand, damp from harbor mist. Flags snapped above the municipal center, and diesel from buses mixed with peach and cinnamon from the box on the bench. People slowed near the entrance, then looked down at their phones. A young woman in a Navy staff vest stepped from the doors. Officer, she has a visitor badge. I checked. Inside, Harlan snapped. The woman stopped. From the ramp, Marcus Whitaker set down a canvas tool bag. His faded work jacket hung loose over a gray shirt. He looked first at his mother's hand, then at Harlan's badge. Officer, Marcus said, release her wrist. Harlan turned. And you are? Her son. Then tell her to comply. Marcus stepped onto the landing. A gull cried above the roofline. She identified herself. She has a badge. She is 72 and needs the rail. What is your concern? The word concern tightened Harlan's jaw. A man near the coffee cart lifted his phone, lowered it, then stared into his cup. Don't coach me on my job, Harlan said. I'm asking a question. You're interfering. Marcus put both hands where everyone could see them. Then I'll stand here. Call a supervisor. Harlan released Evelyn so abruptly that her knuckles struck the rail. The metal stung. She pulled her wrist to her chest and tucked the small blue tin deeper under her purse strap. The lid clicked once. Brett, a woman called from the curb. Sergeant Dana Pike approached between two cruisers, silver hair pinned tight. What's the problem? She asked. This woman refused to clear the entrance, Harlan said. Her son inserted himself. Evelyn lifted her paper badge. Sergeant, I was invited. I have papers for the ceremony. Pike looked at the badge, the crowd, then the glass doors where officials peered from the lobby. A microphone squealed inside. Ma'am, Pike said, step aside until we sort this out. Marcus shifted half a step closer. Please document that she presented identification. Harlan laughed once. He thinks he's running the scene. No, Marcus said. I'm asking you to preserve it. Pike looked directly at him. Something in his tone made her pause, but only for a second. Sir, back up. He can't leave me, Evelyn said. Her words were small. The plaza heard them anyway. The staffer gripped the door handle and did not open it. Evelyn's fingers tightened around the railing until the ridges pressed into her skin. Marcus looked at his mother. "I'm here." Harlan stepped between them. "Not if I decide you're not." The peach box slid from the bench as someone brushed past. It hit the concrete with a soft cardboard slap. Evelyn flinched, not at the sound, but at the way no one bent to pick it up. Pike touched the radio at her shoulder. "Let's separate them." Marcus did not move. His eyes went to the blue tin, to the phone trembling in the young staffer's hand, and then back to Harlan. "Sergeant," he said quietly, "before you do that, ask him why his camera is pointed at the harbor." At 6:12 a.m., Evelyn Whitaker tapped the blue tin with her fingernail, listening to the hollow click as if it could answer. Fog silvered the kitchen window. The kettle breathed on the stove, and tea mixed with the dusty smell of old paper. Evelyn sat in her Sunday dress, one shoe unfastened, sorting documents into careful stacks. "Ma," Marcus called, "gray coat or blue?" "The blue one makes me look like church." "You're going to a ceremony." "That is not the same thing." He appeared in the doorway, faded work jacket over one arm. A pale scar crossed the back of his hand. His eyes moved from the papers to the photograph of Samuel Whitaker. "You checked that tin 3 times. 4. Your father would say 5 is safer." Marcus placed tea beside her, turning the cup handle toward her fingers. He'd make the mayor nervous by being early. Samuel liked nervous officials. Evelyn slid the photograph into the tin beside a folded program letter and a brass coin wrapped in tissue. "You don't need that," Marcus said. "Yes, I do. They only asked you to attend. They asked because they want your name in a program." She shut the tin. "A family held that name before they printed it." Outside, a truck beeped down the street. Marcus glanced toward the hallway where his patched tool bag waited. "It's just a training partnership. Not if my son stands in a room full of people who don't know what he carried home." "No speeches," he said. "I wrote one and promised not to read it." "That sounds unsafe." "Better than letting you say thank you and vanish behind a service door." "I like service doors." "I know." The radiator clicked. Evelyn rubbed the tin with her handkerchief until the painted flowers brightened. "Dad's coin?" Marcus asked. "And your letter." She tried to fasten the clasp on her left shoe, but her fingers missed twice. Marcus came around the table and knelt, slowly enough not to make a ceremony of it. "I can do it." "I know." He waited until she gave him her foot. The leather was smooth and worn soft at the heel. He closed the clasp and stayed there one extra breath. "You take the rail today," he said. "No rushing." "I have used stairs longer than that building has existed." "And today you use the rail." She tapped the tin. "Yes, Chief." His face changed for less than a second. Evelyn saw it and looked at the kettle instead. "Just Marcus today. To me, you have always been Marcus." A car horn sounded outside. Leon from the coffee shop offered to drive her early while Marcus dropped forms at the side entrance. Evelyn stood, one hand on the chair, and the room seemed to tilt with her. Marcus held out the blue coat. As he buttoned it, the second button resisted him. For a moment, his fingers could not find the hole. "You're tired." "I'm fine." "That is not an answer." "I slept." "When?" "Recently." At the door, cold morning air came in smelling of wet leaves and harbor salt. Marcus placed the blue tin inside her purse, beside the folded speech she would not read. "If anything feels off, call me." Evelyn patted his cheek with 2 fingers. "It is a city ceremony, not a storm." Marcus opened the door, but his eyes had already moved toward gray roofs of the municipal center. At 6:48 a.m., the Cedar Harbor briefing room smelled of burnt coffee, copier toner, and damp coats beside vent. Officer Brett Harlan stood at the whiteboard, rolling his wrist until his watch clicked against bone. The ceremony schedule was pinned under an anchor magnet. "Plaza detail again?" he asked. Sergeant Dana Pike did not look up. "You asked for overtime." "I asked for traffic control, not babysitting council guests." "You'll cover the west ramp, keep the doorway clear, and smile if a camera points at you." Dispatcher Tara Wynn, 33, sharp-eyed with a pencil tucked through her curls, snapped a radio battery into its charger. "Mayor's office called twice," Tara said. "Veterans, seniors, press, school kids." "Great," Harlan muttered. "Everybody's special." Pike's pen stopped. "Everybody thinks the rules bend for them," he added. Tara watched him over the rack. "Some people just need help finding a door." A few officers laughed, then stopped when Pike opened the top folder. The first page had a brown coffee ring across the word "complaint." It had dried into the paper like something the room had decided not to clean. Harlan saw it. His watch went quiet. "That again?" "It stays in your file," Pike said. "An old man didn't like moving his truck. Retired mail carrier. You called him a problem in front of his grandson. He blocked an ambulance lane. There was no ambulance. He didn't know that." Pike leaned back. "Today is clean. No lectures. If someone is confused, call staff." He tapped the coffee stain. "You want me polite or effective?" "I want me not answering questions at 5. The fluorescent hum filled the room. Outside, a gull slid on the wet hood of a cruiser. Tara lifted a printed guest list. "Training partnership announcement. Crisis response. De-escalation. Senior assistance." "Senior assistance," Harlan repeated. "That's a department now?" Pike took the paper. "City initiative. Be professional. Who's leading it?" "Marcus Whitaker. Clearance already done." Harlan shrugged. "Never heard of him." Tara's pencil paused. "His mother is listed as family guest. Evelyn Whitaker. Needs ramp access." Pike marked the page. "Then ramp stays open." Harlan's watch clicked again. "You hear me?" Pike asked. "I heard ramp." "You heard guest." Pike slid the stained complaint beneath the ceremony schedule and pressed both palms flat on the folder. "Harlan, stay." The others collected cups, keys, radios. Boots scuffed tile. Tara lingered by the doorway, pretending to untangle her headset cord. Pike lowered her voice. "You decide someone is challenging you, then every word becomes proof." Harlan's mouth tightened. "That from the complaint?" "That from watching you." Cold air from the vent moved the corner of the hidden page. The coffee ring showed anyway. "Assigning someone else?" "No, I'm assigning you a chance to be boring." He took a radio from the charger. "Boring gets people walking through doors." "Then call me before you make the plaza watch." Tara stepped into the hall before he could see her listening. Her dispatch monitor was already blinking with the first Civic Center call, and beside Evelyn Whitaker's name, the yellow tab had lifted loose from the page. At 7:23 a.m., Leon Price eased his sedan to the curb outside the center. "West Ramp, Miss Evelyn." Marcus said no steps. "I heard him," Evelyn said, but she let Leon take her elbow when the sea wind pushed at her blue coat. The plaza smelled of coffee, wet stone, and harbor rope. Workers carried folding chairs through the doors. A school choir waited by flagpoles, shoes tapping concrete. Leon, 58, owned the cafe across the street. His gray beard still held flour near the chin, and he balanced a pie box against his hip. "Peach pie made it." You guarded it better than money. Pi has never bounced a check. Evelyn stopped at the ramp. Her cane touched the textured strip. The rail was cold through her glove. She pulled the folded visitor badge from her purse, its paper clipped to a blue ribbon. A young woman in a Navy staff vest hurried from the side door. Her tag read Mia Alvarez. She was 19, with a silver nose stud and dark hair slipping from a knot. Mrs. Whitaker, Marcus said you'd come early. He worries professionally. I'll walk you in. We have a chair reserved. Before Evelyn could step forward, a voice cut across the ramp. Hold up. Public access is not through there. Officer Harlan came from beside a cruiser, radio hissing. His eyes went to Leon's box, Evelyn's purse, then the badge shaking between her fingers. Mia lifted her tablet. Officer, she's on the guest list. I didn't ask you. The badge fluttered. Evelyn steadied it with her thumb, but the ribbon twisted. My name is Evelyn Whitaker. I am here for the ceremony. Entrance is controlled. Step away from the access point. This is the ramp. This is a secured doorway. Leon shifted closer. Brett, she's invited. Then drive her around back. There is no back ramp, Mia said. Then she can wait. Through the glass, Evelyn saw empty front chairs and a blue banner being unrolled. I was told to use this entrance. By who? My son. Your son doesn't run this scene. Mia's tablet beeped. Officer Harlan, I have authorization. Show me. She turned the tablet. He barely glanced. That says Whitaker. Doesn't say she gets to block a ramp with a box and a crowd. There is no crowd, Leon said. Two choir mothers stopped behind the barricade. A maintenance worker slowed with cable over his shoulder. The space was becoming what Harlan named it. Evelyn tasted metal from the cold. I can stand aside, she said, but I need the rail. Then stand over there. He pointed to a sloped curb. Mia opened her mouth, closed it, then looked at Leon. Leon set the pie box on the bench. Miss Evelyn, sit. I'll call Marcus. No? Her voice came sharper than expected. He has paperwork to deliver. This is not a problem. Harlan stepped closer. His polished shoe touched the ramp mat. Ma'am, don't decide what is and isn't a problem. The badge trembled harder now, not from the wind. Mia noticed. So did Leon. Neither moved fast enough. From inside, a microphone popped. Then a man tested. 1, 2. The sound rolled across the plaza like a warning. Evelyn held the bent badge toward Harlan one more time. Please read it. He looked past the badge toward the arriving guests and lifted his hand to his radio. Harlan pressed the button on his radio without taking his eyes off Evelyn. Possible access issue at West Entrance, he said. Need the area cleared. Mia stared at him. Area? She repeated. It's one guest. Evelyn kept her badge raised, though her fingers had started to shake. The paper ribbon fluttered against her coat. Behind the glass doors, chairs scraped across the hall floor. Outside, gulls wheeled over the harbor, and the wind carried coffee, wet rope, and the sweet smell of peach filling from Leon's box on the bench. I am not refusing anything, Evelyn said carefully. I am waiting to be let in. Then wait farther back. Leon stepped in, palms open. Brett, she can barely manage the slope without the rail. That is not your call. No, Leon said, but I have eyes. The words landed badly. Harlan turned toward him, and in that small turn, his elbow caught the pie box. It slipped from the bench, struck the pavement, and crumpled at one corner. Warm peach and cinnamon rushed into the cold air. Evelyn flinched as if something more important had fallen. Oh, Mia whispered. Nobody bent down. Not the choir mothers. Not the maintenance worker. Not the man in the tan coat who had just taken out his phone and then hidden it again. Evelyn looked at the crushed cardboard, then at the peach filling pushing through the seam. Her mouth tightened, but she said nothing. She moved her cane, trying to angle herself toward the box. "Leave it," Harlan said. "Stay where you are." "It was for inside," she answered. "Ma'am?" The single word hit harder than the wind. Leon stooped at once, but Harlan put out an arm to stop him. "Sir, back up." That was when Marcus crossed the plaza. He came from the side walkway with his canvas tool bag in one hand, his faded jacket unzipped, his expression unreadable except for the way his gaze fixed first on his mother, then on the box, then on Harlan's arm. "Ma," he said, quiet but immediate. "Are you hurt?" "No." It was too quick to be true. Marcus set the tool bag down by the bench. "Officer," he said, "give me your badge number." Harlan laughed without smiling. "Excuse me?" "Your badge number." Mia took one step closer. Leon straightened slowly, peach syrup on his fingers. "She was checked in," Mia said. "I told you that." Harlan ignored her. "You don't get to demand anything here." Marcus looked at Evelyn's wrist. "You touched her already?" "Careful." Pike's voice came from behind the cruiser as she approached the ramp. "What's happening now?" "Interference," Harlan said at once. He arrived and escalated. Marcus did not turn around. "Sergeant, my mother presented identification. She was denied access, ordered off the rail, and publicly humiliated over nothing. She needs to sit down." "She can sit once she complies," Harlan snapped. "With what?" Marcus asked. The question hung there. Even the microphone inside the hall had gone silent. Evelyn lowered herself onto the bench without asking permission. The crushed pie box rested beside her like something embarrassed to exist. She folded her badge in half, then in half again, and kept her eyes on her lap. Marcus saw that movement. Something in his face shut 1 degree colder. "Sergeant," he said, "I'm requesting a supervisor above scene level." Pike hesitated. Harlan stepped forward. "You're not requesting a thing," he said. "You're creating a disturbance." At the edge of the plaza, Mia finally unlocked her phone and lifted it chest high. Mia's thumb found the red record button, but her hand stayed low enough to look accidental. "Put the phone away," Harlan said. "I'm staff," she answered. "I'm documenting a guest access issue." Pike turned on her. "Mia, not now." "Then when?" Leon looked down. Peach syrup had dried between his fingers. Evelyn sat with her folded badge in her lap. The cold rail was just beyond reach. Marcus opened the canvas tool bag with 2 slow fingers. "I have the city packet, invitation letter, access request, contact sheet. Let me hand them to you." Harlan's hand moved to his radio. "Don't reach in that bag." Marcus stopped. "Then you remove the folder." "No. Step away. It proves why she's here. It proves you don't listen." Marcus looked to Pike. "Sergeant, my mother has medication in her purse. She needs water and a chair inside, not a curb in the wind." Evelyn lifted her chin. "I am all right." "Ma?" "I said I am all right." Her voice was steady, but her hand missed the clasp twice. The blue tin pressed against the leather. Harlan saw it. "What's in the purse?" "Papers." "Open it." Marcus stepped forward. "Officer, she identified herself. You don't need to search her purse to read an invitation." Harlan pointed. "That is obstruction. It is a procedural objection. It is obstruction if I say it is." A bus hissed at the curb. Choir mothers pulled children closer. Mia's phone caught the badge, the crushed box. Pike keyed her radio. "Unit 3, start me another car." Marcus heard it. "Sergeant, call medical instead." For what? Harlan said. For a 72-year-old woman held outside after distress. No one held her, Leon whispered. We all watched it. Harlan swung toward him. Do you want to join this? Leon's mouth opened, then closed. The blue tin slipped when Evelyn tried to pull out the letter. It struck the bench, popped open, and scattered tissue, a photograph, and the brass coin. The coin hit concrete. It rang once, bright and thin, then rolled beneath the bench. Everyone heard it. Evelyn reached down too fast. Her cane slid. Marcus moved, but Harlan blocked him with a forearm. Don't touch her, Marcus said. You don't give commands. My mother is falling. She is reaching for property during an active stop. Mia's breath caught. That's not what this is. Pike bent and saved the photograph from the wind, stared at younger Evelyn beside Samuel in uniform, then tucked it back. Marcus held his palms open. Sergeant, look at his body camera. Harlan's camera faced the harbor flags, not the bench. Pike's eyes flicked down. Brett! He twisted the camera forward. It moved. It was moved, Marcus said. Harlan stepped close enough for Marcus to smell mint gum. You done? No. Leon reached under the bench until his fingers found the coin. He pulled it out, dirty from the ground. Evelyn looked at it, but did not take it. That was Samuel's. Harlan glanced at it. Sir, final warning. Marcus looked at the coin in Leon's palm, then at his mother's folded badge. Record this clearly, he said. I am asking for medical assistance, a supervisor, and preservation of all footage. Harlan's jaw tightened. Hands behind your back. Pike did not stop him fast enough. The cuffs clicked before Evelyn could stand. Marcus turned his wrists back exactly as Harlan ordered, palms open until the last second. The metal closed around him with a clean, cold bite, colder than the harbor rail, colder than the wind under his jacket. Brett, Pike said, sharp but late. He was warned, Harlan answered. Interference and failure to comply. I complied with every lawful instruction, Marcus said. Save it. Evelyn pushed herself up. Her cane knocked the crushed pie box and peach smeared the rubber tip. Please don't take him. He did nothing. Harlan guided Marcus away. Ma'am, sit down. No. The plaza shrank around that word. The choir children stopped whispering. Mia kept filming, her phone shaking. Leon held Samuel's coin like it had grown heavy. Marcus looked over his shoulder. Ma, breathe slow. You tell me that like I am a child. No, I tell you because you listen better than I do. The chain between the cuffs rasped against his jacket seam. Pike moved closer. Marcus Whitaker, you are being temporarily detained while we sort this out. On what basis? Scene control. That is not a charge. It is what we're doing right now. Then document that you approved removing me after I requested medical aid for my mother. Harlan laughed once, still writing the report for us. Pike's cheek tightened. Put him in the unit. Mia stepped forward. Sergeant, I have video. He never raised his voice. Mia, go inside. She was supposed to be inside. The second cruiser rolled along the curb, tires whispering through damp leaves. Its rear door opened with a hollow clunk. Evelyn reached for the blue tin, but it sat open on the bench. My papers, she said. Leon moved. I'll get them. Harlan pointed. Leave it until we clear property. It's a photograph. Leave it. Leon froze, bent halfway, one hand inches from Samuel's face. Marcus lowered his voice. If that picture blows into traffic, you will not put this moment back together. Harlan turned him toward the cruiser. You think you're in charge of moments. No. The handcuffs chilled deeper. Inside his sleeve, an old memorial bracelet pressed against his wrist, hidden by steel. Evelyn saw the movement. She knew that bracelet. "Marcus," she said. He stopped beside the car door. Harlan nudged him. "Move." Marcus did not resist. He only looked at Pike. "My mother's medication is in her purse. Her emergency card is in the blue tin." Pike hesitated. "Tara can call it in." "Now." Behind the glass doors, a mayor's aide waved urgently. A camera crew had arrived early. Pike looked at the crowd, then at the doors. "Clear the entrance first," she said. "We'll handle medical at the station." Evelyn gripped the bench until her glove creaked. "He is not the one who needs handling." No one answered. Harlan lowered Marcus into the back seat. The cuffs touched the plastic divider, and cold shot up both arms. Through the window, he saw Mia recording, Leon holding the coin, and his mother beside the open blue tin. The cruiser door shut. All sound became glass and engine hum. Then Marcus saw Harlan lean toward Pike and say something the body camera would not catch unless someone had remembered where it was pointing. The holding room door shut with a rubber thud, and the sound did not echo. Marcus sat on the metal bench because standing would make the officer by the glass nervous. The room was narrow, painted beige, with a vent ticking above the corner and a fluorescent strip cutting a white bar across the wall. It smelled of disinfectant, paper, and wet uniforms. "Cuffs stay on?" Marcus asked. The officer checked the hall. "Until Sergeant says." "What's your name?" "Keene." "Officer Keene, my mother needs her medication. Emergency card is in a blue tin on the plaza bench. Call someone now." "They're handling it." "That isn't a call." Through the glass, Harlan leaned over a desk, writing. Pike stood beside him, arms folded, listening as if the page might keep the morning contained. Marcus shifted his wrists. The cuffs scraped skin, chilled, numb. He looked at the strip of light on the wall and counted. 4 in, 4 held, 4 out. A phone rang in dispatch. Tara Wynn's voice carried down the hall. "Cedar Harbor Police, what is your emergency?" Then lower. "Wait, who was left where?" Keene touched his radio. "Sergeant?" Pike stepped away from Harlan. "What?" "Caller from the Civic Center. Elderly female still outside, says she doesn't have her medication." Marcus stood. Keene's hand jumped to his belt. "Sit down." "Call medical." "Sit down first." Marcus looked at his hand, then at his face. "My mother is 72, Marcus said. "She should not be alone in that wind." I said sit. For 1 second, Marcus did not move. In that second, the room narrowed until all he could see was Evelyn's glove around the bench, the blue tin open, Samuel's photograph sliding in the harbor gust. Then he sat. Harlan appeared at the glass with the report. "See? Aggressive posture." Marcus turned his head slowly. "You left my mother without the emergency card. You created the delay. I requested assistance before you cuffed me. You kept interrupting a lawful scene." Pike came up behind him. "Brett, enough." Harlan kept his eyes on Marcus. "He wants a script. I'm giving him one." Tara entered with a printout. "Sergeant, civic staff called twice. Mrs. Whitaker is inside the lobby, but not checked by medical. Leon Price brought the tin. Harlan told them property was not cleared." Harlan snapped. "That is not what I said." Tara held the paper higher. "It's in the call notes." Marcus closed his hands, then opened them. Pike took the printout. "Get EMS non-emergency to the center." "Already did," Tara said. "And Chief Ruiz wants all body cam held. She asked why Mr. Whitaker is in holding." Harlan's pen stopped moving. Marcus looked at Pike. "My mother?" Tara answered instead. sitting in the lobby, coat still on. She asked them not to call you because she didn't want to make it worse. That almost broke him. His fingers found the edge of the bench and gripped until the metal lip pressed crescents into his skin. He stared at the white strip on the wall until it blurred. Pike used his name carefully. Marcus? He did not look at her. Unlock the cuffs or write down why you won't. No one moved. From the hallway, Harlan's report printer began to chatter, each page sliding out, carrying words Evelyn had never said. Mia Alvarez did not mean to post the video. At first, she saved it twice, once to her phone and once to the Civic Center drive because her thumb would not stop shaking. The red dot had burned in the corner of the screen, tiny and steady, while everyone else looked away. In the lobby, Evelyn sat with her coat still buttoned. A paper cup of water cooled beside her knee. Leon held the blue tin near the windows. Mrs. Whitaker, Mia whispered, I have the recording. Evelyn looked at the phone, then at the doors. Will it help my son? I don't know. Then don't use it for noise. Leon cleared his throat. Sometimes noise is how a town wakes up. The EMS technician wrapped a cuff around Evelyn's arm. Velcro scratched softly. Breathe normal for me. I have been trying. Mia's phone buzzed. Her friend had sent one line. They're saying he was aggressive. That's a lie, Leon said. No names, Evelyn said. No guesses. Only what happened. Mia trimmed the clip with cold fingers. The badge, the pie box, Marcus asking for medical assistance, the coin ringing under the bench, the cuffs. Then she typed, Guest access incident at Cedar Harbor Civic Center. Full video saved. Her thumb hovered over upload. The red dot reflected in her dark pupil. She pressed it. Across the street, Leon's cafe bell jingled as he stepped behind the counter. Morning customers leaned over phones. That's Miss Evelyn? Who's the man? That's her son. Leon set Samuel's coin on a folded napkin near the register. That is the man who asked for help before anyone gave it. A retired teacher covered her mouth. A driver replayed the pie box falling and muttered, Nobody picked it up. Leon looked at the coin, dirty along one edge. I didn't either. Not fast enough. At the police station, Tara Wynn saw the clip on her sister's message, then on 3 town feeds, then on the mayor's office alert. She muted the audio, but Harlan's mouth still moved. Pike stepped into dispatch. Why is my phone exploding? Tara turned the monitor. Because the plaza had more cameras than Brett's report. Pike watched Marcus's hands stay open. She watched Evelyn reach for the coin. She watched Harlan's body camera facing the flags. Pull the CAD logs, Pike said. I already marked the original calls. Do not editorialize. I'm not. I'm preserving. Pike looked at her, and for once did not argue. At 9:04 a.m., Mayor Celia Grant entered the Civic Center lobby through the side door, gray coat over her shoulders, lipstick unfinished at one corner. She was 52, polished in public, but now her heels struck the tile too fast. Where is Mrs. Whitaker? Evelyn stood before anyone could help her. I am here. The mayor stopped at the sight of the blue tin. Mrs. Whitaker, I'm so sorry. Evelyn held up one hand. My son, first. Celia's aide whispered, Chief Ruiz is requesting an evidence hold. Mia's phone buzzed on the reception desk. The red recording dot was gone now, replaced by numbers climbing faster than she could read. Leon slid Samuel's coin back into the tin. The small metal sound made Evelyn close her eyes. Outside, another cruiser turned into the plaza, and this time every person at the windows lifted a phone before the door opened. Chief Elena Ruiz watched the video first. At 9:17 a.m., Gray harbor light striped her desk. Marcus Whitaker's name sat on the invite list. "Play it again," she said. Naomi Bell, 38, the city attorney, stood near the cabinet, red reading glasses hooked in her hair. "With audio?" "Yes." Harlan's voice filled the office. Evelyn's cane scraped concrete. Marcus said, "I am asking for medical assistance, a supervisor, and preservation of all footage." Ruiz closed her eyes for one beat. "He was scheduled to teach our officers at 11. "That is Marcus Whitaker?" "Former Navy, senior crisis instructor." "Was he booked?" "Detained. Not booked yet." Ruiz called Pike. "Where is he?" "At the station," Pike answered. "We're sorting conflicting accounts." "There are no conflicting accounts until you preserve them. Body cam, dispatch logs, municipal cameras, radio traffic, intake notes, everything. We can handle this internally." "You just lost internally." Ruiz opened a red folder. "Tara Wynn will generate an evidence hold. No edited reports. No corrected wording before counsel sees originals." "Yes, Chief." In dispatch, Tara printed the order. The machine warmed the room with toner and plastic. She sealed the sheets in a large envelope and pressed a white label across the flap. "Evidence hold." Her thumb stayed on the label. Harlan stood by the printer. "This is getting ridiculous." Tara did not look up. "Ridiculous is losing footage after a public incident." "I didn't lose anything." "Then this won't bother you." Pike came from the hallway. "Brett, surrender your camera." "That footage will show him crowding me." "Then records can see that." He unclipped the camera and placed it on the counter. The plastic hit louder than it should have. Marcus watched through the holding room glass. His cuffs were off, but red lines circled his wrists. "Can I call my mother?" he asked. Pike held the envelope under one arm. "Soon." "That isn't an answer." "She's been taken home by Mr. Price." "Taken home or released?" Pike's lips parted, then closed. "Released." "Was medical completed?" Tara said yes. "Document that too." At 10:06 a.m., Leon's sedan stopped outside Evelyn's small house. The porch mums bent in the wind. Evelyn stepped out slowly, the blue tin clutched in both hands. "You want me to come in?" Leon asked. "No. You have a cafe full of people pretending not to watch their phones. They can wait. So can I." Inside, the house smelled of cold tea. Evelyn sat at the kitchen table without removing her blue coat or small hat. She placed the tin in front of her, then the folded badge beside it. Leon stayed in the doorway. "Miss Evelyn, if Marcus calls, tell him I am sitting. He'll ask if you're all right. Then tell him I am sitting." The clock ticked above the sink. Sun touched the tin and made the paint look almost new. Back at the station, Naomi entered records with Ruiz behind her. Tara handed over the envelope. Ruiz signed across the seal. "No one opens this without both names," she said. Harlan's report still lay warm in the printer tray, but the original video had reached one quiet kitchen where Evelyn kept her coat buttoned and waited for the phone to ring. The hearing room had no windows, only a long table, 2 pitchers of water, and a clock clicking above the seal. Evelyn sat beside Marcus with the folded ceremony card under her palm. Its corner had gone soft from being held all morning. She had removed her hat, but not her blue coat. Chief Ruiz opened a folder. "This is an administrative fact meeting. All statements are preserved." Naomi Bell set a recorder on the table. Harlan sat across from them, jaw locked. Pike sat one chair away. Captain Raymond Holt, 57, head of professional standards, entered last, broad-shouldered, reading glasses on a black cord. "State your full name." "Marcus Elijah Whitaker." "Current occupation." Contract instructor. Crisis response, veteran transition, senior safety. Harlan shifted. That wasn't provided on scene. You'll have time, Holt said. Naomi continued. Prior service? Marcus looked at Evelyn's hand. United States Navy. Senior chief. Special operations background. Retired after 20 years. The room changed without a chair moving. Harlan's pen stopped. Cold air lifted the edge of the program. Holt asked, quieter. You were the invited instructor? Yes. And Mrs. Whitaker was your family guest? Yes. Evelyn pressed the card flatter. I was his mother before he was invited. Reverend Elise Monroe, 61, a community observer with a silver cross, leaned forward. Mrs. Whitaker, water? No, Reverend. I would like them to hear clearly. Evelyn looked at Harlan. The worst part was not his voice. It was everybody deciding quickly that if I was treated that way, there must be a reason. Mia lowered her phone into her lap. Evelyn touched the crease in the card. When that box fell, I waited for one person to pick it up. I kept my hand on the rail because if I bent down and fell, the story would become about how difficult I was. Pike's face tightened. Holt turned to Harlan. Why was Mrs. Whitaker denied ramp access after staff confirmed her badge? She was at a controlled entrance. Answer the question. I believed the area needed clearing. Based on what threat? She was not following direction. Marcus said, She asked you to read. Harlan snapped, You don't get to rewrite. Officer Harlan, Ruiz cut in. The recorder light glowed red. Naomi slid a still across the table. Evelyn's badge raised, Harlan's camera angled toward flags. Holt tapped it. Why is your camera not facing contact? It shifted. Before or after Mr. Whitaker asked that footage be preserved? Harlan stared at the paper. From the hallway came muffled reporters. Evelyn's fingers curled over the card. Pike finally spoke. I approved separation too quickly. Harlan looked at her. Dana. I did. I saw the badge. I saw the camera angle. I chose the fastest way to make Plaza look calm. Holt wrote one line. Ruiz asked, Mr. Whitaker, what outcome are you seeking today? Marcus looked at his mother first. The cuff marks circled his wrists. Start with the truth in the record. And after that? The full video, original logs, my mother's emergency notes, then policy. Evelyn lifted the folded card and placed it in front of Ruiz. You may keep that, she said. It has the name nobody asked for. Grace Lynn entered with a gray laptop under one arm, and every eye followed her to the empty chair between Officer's table and Evelyn Whitaker. She was 45, an internal reviewer, small and precise, with silver clips holding back black hair. She pointed to the chair. Leave that where it is. For seating? Naomi asked. For distance. At 1:32 p.m., the lights dimmed. 4 windows appeared. Mia's phone video, Civic Center security, dispatch audio, and Harlan's body camera. The projector fan pushed warm air into the cold room. Tara Wynn's radio note played first. Guest list confirms Evelyn Whitaker. Needs ramp access. Beside it, Harlan's report filled the screen. Unknown female refused orders. Evelyn's hand tightened on her folded ceremony card. Marcus sat beside her, cuff marks visible. Captain Holt leaned forward. Officer Harlan, why does your report omit confirmed guest status? I didn't hear that. From the back, Tara said, You answered it. Grace clicked again. Harlan's voice came through. Copy. I'm looking at her. No one moved. The next clip showed the pie box on the bench. Mia's video shook, but the sound was clean. Marcus asking for medical help, a supervisor, and preservation of footage. Grace paused on Harlan's arm, blocking Marcus. Mr. Whitaker, did you threaten him? No. Harlan exhaled. Tone matters. Grace turned her head. Words first. On Civic camera, Evelyn reached for the coin. On Harlan's camera, only harbor flags snapped in wind. Holt pointed at the screen. Why is there no visual record of the handcuffing? The camera shifted. Grace enlarged the timestamp. It shifted 6 seconds after Mr. Whitaker said, "Look at his body camera." The empty chair glowed blue-white. Leon Price stood next. His sweater carried a faint smell of flour. "I saw the badge," he said. "After Officer Harlan dismissed you, did you continue?" Leon looked at Evelyn. "No." "Why not?" "Because I run a cafe across from that plaza. Because I knew his name. Because if I pushed, he might make it worse." Evelyn did not look at him. Mia came after him, gripping her phone with both hands. "I work there. I could have opened the door." "Why didn't you?" "He told me to go inside." "Is Officer Harlan your supervisor?" "No." "Then why obey?" Mia swallowed. "Because he sounded like he could turn a normal thing into a charge." Pike set her pen down. The small click made Harlan flinch. Grace played the final clip. The cruiser door closed around Marcus. Evelyn stood beside the open blue tin. Harlan leaned toward Pike, and the audio caught 2 low words. "Teach him." Chief Ruiz looked across the table. "Officer Harlan, explain that." "I don't remember saying it." Pike's voice came quiet. "You said it." He turned on her. "You didn't stop it." "No," Pike said, staring at the empty chair. "I made room for it." Marcus did not smile. Evelyn touched his wrist where the cuffs had been. Grace closed the laptop halfway. "This review is examining reporting accuracy, supervisor intervention, medical delay, and witness suppression." A knock came at the door. Holt opened it. A clerk handed him a sealed envelope. "Chief," the clerk whispered, "the mayor's office received 3 more plaza videos." At 4:05 p.m., the municipal press room filled until the air tasted of coffee, coats, and overheated lights. Marcus stood at the side wall. Evelyn sat in front with the blue tin on her knees. The brass coin lay inside, cleaned enough to show Samuel's initials. Every time a camera shifted, a white flash skimmed across it. Chief Ruiz stepped to the microphones. The review found failures in guest verification, medical response, camera positioning, report accuracy, and supervisory intervention. A murmur moved through the room. Officer Harlan stood near the back with a union representative, face flat, hands folded. Sergeant Pike stood apart from him, badge clipped to her belt. Ruiz continued. "Officer Brett Harlan is relieved of field duty pending review. Sergeant Dana Pike is removed from shift command and reassigned to administrative duty. We will release the record after legal review." A reporter raised her hand. "Nora King, Channel 6. Chief, is this only because the video went public?" Nora was 41, compact, with copper curls cut to her jaw and a pen that tapped once before every question. Ruiz looked at Marcus. He gave no signal. "It is because the record required action," Ruiz said. "The public video made delay impossible." Nora turned. "Mr. Whitaker, do you feel vindicated?" Someone pulled the microphone lower. Marcus did not move. "No," he said. Nora waited. "No?" "My mother was left outside a building she was invited into. A pie box sat on concrete while people watched. My name does not fix that." A camera operator lowered his shoulder rig. Evelyn opened the tin and touched the coin. Its edge caught a flash, bright enough to make her blink. Mayor Celia Grant took the podium. "The city apologizes to Mrs. Whitaker and Mr. Whitaker. We will establish." Marcus lifted one hand, just enough that she stopped. "Before the policy language," he said, "read the names." Celia frowned. "Which names?" "The prior complaints. The senior at the truck lane. The woman at the bus stop. The father outside the clinic. You have them in that folder." Pike closed her eyes. Naomi opened a file and slid a page to the mayor. Celia swallowed. "Some are confidential." "Then initials," Marcus said. "But don't call my mother the first." Nora's pen stopped tapping. The mayor read slowly. "RM, age 78. LD, age 64. Harold Benton, age 81. Denise Carter, age 59. In the second row, Leon bowed his head. Mia wiped her cheek with her sleeve. Harlan whispered, "This is a performance." Pike heard him. She turned, and for the first time that day, she did not protect him with silence. "No," she said. "This is the part we skipped." Cameras swung toward them. Harlan's mouth closed. After the names, reporters surged. "Mr. Whitaker, one quote. Mrs. Whitaker, can we get a photo? Hold the coin up, ma'am." Evelyn stood with Marcus's help. She placed the coin back in the blue tin and shut the lid with a small click. "No," she said. "To the photo?" Nora asked gently. "To making it pretty." Outside, dusk softened the harbor windows. Marcus guided his mother through the side door, past the podium, past the lights, while microphones recorded a room that no longer knew where to point. The next morning, the west ramp wore a blue ribbon. Not closed. Marked. Evelyn stood at the curb while Harbor Wind lifted her scarf. Marcus stayed one step behind, close enough to help, far enough not to decide. The concrete still held a pale stain where peach filling had been scrubbed by mist. "They cleaned around it," she said. Marcus looked down. "They tried. That is not the same thing." Chief Ruiz waited near the entrance with a clipboard. Mia Alvarez held the door open. A new sign had been bolted beside the rail. Below the blue ribbon were a number, a QR code, and one line: "Request staff verification before police action." Ruiz came closer. "A sign does not repair what happened." "No," Evelyn said, "but it tells the next person where to put her hand." "Training starts in 15 minutes. Patrol, dispatch, civic staff, supervisors." "Not everyone," Marcus said. Ruiz turned toward a city van. "Mr. Bellamy?" Arthur Bellamy stepped down slowly, 76, tall and thin in a brown cardigan, with a polished cane and hearing aids that whistled in wind. "I was told I'm allowed to complain in person," Arthur said. "Correct us in person," Marcus answered. Arthur looked at Evelyn. "I saw the video. I wished I had been there." Her fingers tightened around her cane. Many people were. He nodded once. Inside, chairs formed a circle. Dispatchers sat beside officers. Leon set coffee on a side table and stayed. Pike entered last without a command badge. "Mrs. Whitaker," Pike said, "I approved what happened." Evelyn looked at her. "I know. I'm not asking you to make that easier." "Good." Pike took the chair farthest from the door. Marcus stood in the center without notes. Dust moved through a stripe of sun. "The fastest way to lose control," he said, "is to pretend no one else has rights in the room." An officer shifted. "What do we do when someone won't comply?" Marcus pointed to Arthur. "Ask him." "You're at the ramp," Marcus said. "You can't hear well. Someone gives 3 instructions. What happens?" Arthur touched his hearing aid. "I miss 2 and get blamed for all 3. A dispatcher wrote it down. Mia raised her hand. "What if staff knows the answer, but an officer shuts us down?" Ruiz answered before Marcus could. Staff verification pauses police action unless there is an immediate safety issue. Leon asked, "What if a witness is afraid?" Pike spoke from the back. "The supervisor creates space for the witness, not for the officer's pride." The room went still. At the break, Evelyn walked outside alone. Marcus stayed by the doorway, letting the distance be hers. She placed her palm on the rail. The metal was cold, but the blue ribbon brushed her knuckles. Mia stopped nearby. "Mrs. Whitaker, do you want me beside you?" Evelyn studied the ramp, the sign, the open door, the young woman. "Yes," she said, "but not because I cannot walk." Mia nodded. "Because you shouldn't have to do it, watched like a suspect." Evelyn started up. Halfway, Arthur read the sign aloud, testing whether words would hold. Marcus listened from the doorway. Since the cruiser door shut, he had corrected nothing. He only watched his mother's hand move along the rail, past the blue ribbon, into the building. By late January, the west ramp no longer felt like a place people hurried past. Evelyn arrived at 210 with her cane in one hand and the blue tin under her arm. Winter sun had warmed the rail enough that she did not pull her glove back. Beside the new sign, Arthur Bellamy read the number aloud to a woman with a walker. "Request staff verification before police action," he said. "They ask before they assume." "And if they don't?" Arthur tapped the faded blue ribbon. "You call while they are still standing there." Inside, Mia Alvarez worked the weekend desk. Her badge said Access Coordinator. When Evelyn reached the mat, Mia smiled. "Chair by the window?" "Not today. I came to walk the full hall." Marcus stood near the entrance in a dark sweater, watching officers practice an intake drill with dispatchers and senior volunteers. Chief Ruiz came beside him. "The report posted," she said. "I read it. 5 years of complaints are being audited. Cameras are checked at roll call. Supervisors must document medical requests." Marcus watched his mother's hand on the rail. "Put it in training until it becomes habit." Harlan's name appeared in the public record without adjectives, relieved from field duty, certification suspended pending review. When he resigned before the review ended, the city sent the file forward. Pike stayed with the department, but not in command. She completed retraining, then asked to sit in the witness module with Leon and Mia. When an officer asked how fast a supervisor should intervene, Pike answered, "Before pride starts writing policy." No one laughed. Leon's cafe became the place seniors brought forms they did not understand. Tara Wynn moved into records oversight and made a checklist with plain language. Nora King's follow-up showed Evelyn walking the ramp, then the names the mayor had read. That evening, Evelyn's kitchen table was covered with envelopes from Ohio, Georgia, Arizona, and Maine. Some were written in careful cursive. One only said, "My father stopped going to city meetings because of one bad afternoon." Evelyn opened the blue tin. Samuel's photograph lay beside the brass coin, the folded ceremony card, and the visitor badge she had creased until it looked like cloth. Marcus set 2 cups of tea on the table, handles turned toward her. "You don't have to answer all of them," he said. "I know. You don't have to be a symbol." Evelyn looked at the tin. "I am not. I am a woman who wanted to sit in the front row." Only the radiator clicked. Paper shifted under her hand. "I'm sorry I wasn't beside you sooner," he said. "You were beside me when it mattered." She closed the tin and pushed the coin toward him. "Then carry this differently." In spring, the first oversight meeting was held in the same room where Marcus had been questioned. The empty chair was gone. In its place sat residents, a dispatcher, a civic worker, and a captain required to answer in full sentences. Evelyn spoke for less than a minute. Do not build rules around perfect people. Build them for the day someone is tired, proud, afraid, or late. Afterward, she stepped outside alone. Marcus waited by the door until she glanced back. The harbor smelled of salt and cut grass. Sunlight rested on the ramp. Evelyn placed her palm on the rail, and this time the metal gave back warmth. The rail held the afternoon light. If this story reminded you of a moment when someone's dignity was ignored, share it in the comments. Sometimes the smallest detail, a badge no one read, a hand on a rail, a witness who finally speaks, can change how people see power. Share this story with someone who believes justice is not only about punishment, but about making sure the next person is treated better. Subscribe for more stories about quiet resilience, family loyalty, and the kind of changes that happen when ordinary people refuse to look away. And if you have ever stood beside someone when it mattered, let others know what that moment taught you.